My name is Aurelius Zeff, the protector of Nauden, a small whaling village on an island off the coast. I lived my life as anyone should. I cared for my friends, loved my family, forgave my rivals, and built a home to be proud of, a home worth protecting. One day, when I was out whaling, the weather was foul, and the gods' whims must have been wrathful that day, for they sent a wave, bigger than the tallest mountain on Nauden, straight towards the tiny island, to seemingly wipe it off the face of existence. In an act of desperation, I turned my small boat and headed straight on for the wave. I wasn't driven by rage, or the lust for glory, or the pride of trying to best a divine being's whim. I was driven by the deepest feeling someone could have. Love. Love for my home. Those rivals I forgave. The friends I cherished, and the family I raised, for they all would surely perish under this Armageddon. So I gripped my harpoon, and I sailed directly into this beast of a wave, and gave up everything I am to protect this beautiful, insignificant village. I gave up my body, and the strength that I built my home with. And I gave up the memories of my life, my friends, my family. They all became strangers passing in my dreams. I gave up everything, down to my soul, and to spare this island, and to stop that beast from taking it away. And now, as the shepherdess takes me, I can only hope that my sacrifice is enough for the unfeeling gods to notice and spare this small village, this small, insignificant village. My name is Aurelius Zeff. I am a mortal, and I am no more.
The rebel child Sindar sought to control and shape the primal passion that flowed throughout the universe. The other gods had no control over this passion and its overwhelming force, leading to many godly disputes. So, Sindar took this passion, shaped it into emotion, and created her son to rule over them. He was called Nevrik. Sindar charged Nevrik with the power of passion, separating it into 5 base emotions: love, fear, anger, joy, and sadness. Each of these emotions were tied to 5 elements: the immovable earth, the flowing water, the burning fire, the fleeting air, and the striking lightning. Each of these elements came together to form Nevrik's home, the catalyst of all emotion. And Nevrik was the key to unlocking all incorporeal sensation in the universe.
And so came midnight, lost in the stars of the fallen people of his world. As a mortal, Midnight was around in the early ages of his land, and was a part of the few that were at the beginning. Midnight's parents were the first to die, leaving Midnight in a state that would lead him to godship, the exploration of death, hoping that he could see his parents again, while also to be the god that understood what took his parents from him. Death itself. Midnight is there to research, study, and ponder what the moment of death will bring to everyone. A worker with all the gods, but closely with Ystävä, leading you through the moment of death and handing you off to Ystävä for the afterlife. On the journey of life, midnight comes when you least expect it. It watches how you make every decision to your last breath. Looking over every soul that reaches death, midnight takes a moment to care for what you have done, what choices you have made, and what has brought you to your final breath. And with that final breath of life you take, midnight will come.
During the birth of Regolus, Uro created with it a messenger who would meet with the Crucible and assist them with the maintenance of this blossoming new reality. I am Ünen, herald of Uro and god of force. In the beginning, my work was primarily with Kirrehan, assisting with the creation of the elves. Since then, I have continued my mission to help this universe grow and help the gods as they govern it, forever maintaining the vision that Uro had for his creation, and serving as linchpin for the forces of nature in order to maintain equilibrium.
Welcome. Don't be afraid. There's no reason to be. Let me start with telling you a story. Maybe that would make you more comfortable. But please, you're safe. This story is about the first person who died. So, when the first mortal perished, no place had yet to be created for the dead, except for the god sleep. This mortal came to the sepulchre of the gods alone and with no means to return to the worlds of the living. It was not a place for them. Yet, unfortunately, they were there because there was no other place for them to go. Fearing an eternity of nothingness, or worse, being discovered by a not-so-forgiving god, the mortal tore into the ether, desperate to escape. The ether tore back, filling the mortal with the vast potential that Uro gave existence. All that was before, and all that would come to be, ripped through the very essence of the mortal's mind and body. But the mortal's will was strong. So strong that once soul and vessel had been consumed by the void, their will remained. From the ether, something began to stitch itself together. The very fabric of the universe, combined with the mortal will to endure, weaved a new being. A friendly face to meet at the edge of eternity. A shepherd to guide souls from what was to what will be. The new god, imbued with the spark the mortal left behind, fashioned a name for themselves. Ystävä. Ystävä carved out a piece of the god's sleep for the perished mortals, for you. Ystävä made it for them to come for a final rest, or to be reborn into the next cycle. And while this creation seems very mystical, some focus on the peace and the comfort the god of the afterlife provides. Others fear the great unknown, which I don't blame them. Unknowns are scary, but a very select few believe there might just be something more to be discovered, even beyond the veil. Maybe one day we'll find out. Welcome to the afterlife. My name is Ystävä.
At the beginning, there was only the void, thought birth, dark drinker, the heart of all magic. It was itself, the expanse of shifting emptiness, simply the before. Centered around this sliver, a fragment of existence itself, the void was everything and nothing, alive, dead, and dreaming all at once. Then, for seemingly no reason, and yet for every reason, something spawned from the dream of the void. It was a sentient orb of glittering light, energy, and brilliance. Uro, infinite unbound, was born, and simultaneously so too did the essence of the void fold in on itself, imploding, leaving only its dormant shell, the expanse of space itself, visible to its new creation. At the moment of its birth, Uro is said to have had every thought that would ever be had all at once. And once it thought of everything, it became bored by what it found. It decided to change everything by imprinting upon existence its own grand design. Uro channeled all the energy of the infinite nothingness and effectively divided itself in half. One half remained pure, floating, sentient energy, but multiplied in size exponentially. It began to accrue its own gravitational pull, drawing in debris and matter from the corpse of the void, beginning what would later be called a planet. Uro's second half became La, the potter, sculptor of the gods. As Uro sealed its remaining self inside the ball of energy and hardening magma, it spoke to its only daughter thus.
You are La, that which shapes the formless, and from your shapes must come my legacy. With my soul, you will work wonders.
And La, duty-bound, worked wonders. In the first star, made in her afterbirth, she formed a fortress, her home and the home of gods to come, named the Hearth. And in the hearth she built a great wheel, like those we spin our clay upon, but great La, upon it she spun all that is. From the heat and the flame of the hearth itself she sculpted her sons. First came Dami Ino, hammer of the gods, and without intending to, La gave life to the cold space left in the wake of Dami Ino's creation, giving him a brother, Vaikstar, the dark between stars.
and so came to be the Brothers Celestial. Dami Ino hammered the myriad stars into light and life, while Vaikstar carved roads between them, linking them together in the bleak quiet. But soon the brothers began to bicker and spat, and their fights would rumble the heavens, and the ball of rock and ambition would seethe, so La would answer. To find balance between their squabbles, La sculpted Aldwin, the Scales Overseer. And as he was built to do, Aldwin stopped the arguments he could before they were even to happen, and the ones that went too far he cleaved in twain with word and might. And for a time, things were quiet. But like her ancestor, even in slumber and respite, La was at work. Her dreams were filled with exploration and passion and movement and life, though life, as we know it, did not yet exist. And her dreams gathered at the wheel all the starfire and the solar winds, and the humming of tectonic plates of the burgeoning planet below, and the liquid ichor that flowed in all of La's children. And from this gathering came Sindar, all that moves, elementalist. Sindar was the rebel child. She did as she pleased, and she in turn pleased very few, but was respected and feared by all, as she built a world for all the elements to flow through at once. In their unity, this family of 5 turned to the now gargantuan ball of elemental fury beneath them, and feeling Uro's will surging through them all, they began to act. Drawing power from the new-birthed planes across the multiverse, these gods imbued the planet with life. The flora thrummed with diluted ichor, which would soon become water and fill. From the flora would come small moving things that would drink of the ichor and change and grow apart over and over and over. Each creature and thing on this planet has a story and a path that leads back to these gods, or the gods to come. But those are stories for other days. When at last the work was done, and the planet was filled, but filled too with chaos, the first family became overwrought. They needed someone to help keep track of all that had come before, and all that was to come, so La spun the wheel one last time, and from this finality sprung Kirrehan, archivist of memory. Kirrehan was the first of this family, the Crucible, to inhabit the planet and walk it themselves, sheltering under the massive tree formed when they first touched the soil. With this last work done, these gods, this Crucible, looked upon the teeming globe beneath them, and through their ichor heard Uro speak once more.
Witness, Regolus. 'Tis mine, and mine alone, but those who writhe upon it are yours, and yours henceforth. Do what you must, please me, and inasmuch serve yourselves.
And it is here where things begin to unfold which neither Uro nor any of the Crucible could ever expect. A second branch of their family was about to grow and take root, and it is here, with these new gods, that our story will begin.
Hi guys!
Hello!
Hi guys! We've had an eventful setup here that I almost just repeated, but let's not worry about it. Welcome back to another episode of your friendly neighborhood Bards of New York. After a little unexpected break last week, thanks to some workplace food that no one should be having to eat at any point, we are now back on schedule, back on track, with a little celebratory Valentine's Day session, and we have our own little celebration right here of our own little space knight, Ünen, played by Kyle. Happy birthday, King of Kings.
Thank you, sir.
How's it felt?
Well, I had class and then I'm here.
You're here. Am I correct to say first birthday as a married man?
It is true. It is a exact same experience.
Completely congruous.
Nothing
Great.
has changed.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Listen, that's what, as long as the entropy is settling into your bones well, as we hurtle towards the heat death of the universe, you are 1 year closer to that event, and that's all that matters. Other than that, we have some other fun announcements today. Hannah, if you want to start that off.
Yes. So, a little fun announcement that I just found out today. I will be streaming with Top Down Tabletop this Saturday on their channel at 7:30. It should be a fun one-shot. It's a collaboration with a bunch of people from different channels. So watch their Instagram, and we'll repost their stuff on our Instagram as well for that time. But if you're hanging out on Saturday and you want to come have fun, come on over there. And then we finally have our stuff for our 1,500 follower giveaway. It is a lovely set of dice from Tales of Echo, who is a dice maker from Astoria, so New York local.
Yeah.
Really, really great there. They are extremely talented. Drew, if you want to pull up the photos, we'll show off these beautiful photos. Those are the rules of the giveaway we have right there, and you can see some faraway photos right there. And if we go to that picture one right above it. Yeah, so there are the
look at
dice.
that.
Baby.
So if you're feeling cursed with your own dice rolls, now is the time to refresh that cycle and bless yourself with the potential.
Tales of Echo, we kind of talked about like the vibes of our current campaign, and it's got some mythological roots to it, and so she had these dice made up, and they kind of resemble kind of like a marble that you would see in ancient Greece. We also are giving away a dice tray that matches it as well. It's gorge. I wish I could have them myself. If we want to cycle to the rules of the giveaway.
I think we should tell her that it's my birthday and that
We should replace everybody's entries with yours.
I should at least get more than you.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So the rules of the giveaway, this whole giveaway is going to happen on Instagram. So you've got to like the post. You obviously have to follow Bards of New York, and you have to follow Tales of Echo Dice, which if you're not already, please go do it, because they are so cool and like a really affordable dice maker. So, keep it secret. And then you've got to comment, or like, what does it say? Comment a couple people, tag them in it. And then if you want some bonus entries, you can share it on your story. And then if you want another bonus entry, you can give us a review on Apple Podcasts and just DM us a picture on Instagram.
You can also hit a rating on Spotify now.
Definitely.
Spotify
Yeah.
totally
Definitely
added
do
that. If you spot that 5 stars for us.
And if
The
you're,
birthday magic.
Hey, it's my birthday. Everybody laugh.
Yeah,
flowing.
okay. It's like that scene again. Everything leads back to Shrek, where you've got the guy in the executioner hood just like holding up the required reactions.
The giveaway will begin tomorrow. That's when we will release the post on Instagram, and it will run through the 28th, and we will announce the winner on our stream on the 28th / on Instagram.
Yeah.
So in the evening. So you got some time to tell your friends and to get those submissions in, so you can get the golden ticket. Yeah.
It's all no effort for a whole lot of potential reward. That's I think a great way to look at it, and good meaning reward.
Yeah.
too.
Yep. But more importantly, it's Kyle's birthday, and that's the most important.
That's
If
all
you
matters.
don't do it, you hate me and
Right.
everything I stand for.
It's a personal
Yeah.
affront against you.
which includes a lot of really good things. So don't be a bad person.
Great. Good.
Participate in
We
the
love
thing.
that. Any other spicy announcements today? Anything else that's
Other
on
than-
top of the docket?
If you want to see Woody in South Pacific, head to their website or come join our Discord, and we'll share the link with you. If he's in your neck of the woods. Right now he's in Iowa, I think, on a bus. He was in Georgia recently. And Dan's on a cruise ship. If you want to go on a cruise and watch Dan perform, let us know.
And maybe
Join our
we-
Discord, and we
Yeah.
will let you know what
A lot
it
of
is.
wonderfully personal information that gets flung into
Yep.
this one.
Including Woody's bank info.
Yes, yeah. Well, that was just that's
I'm
still
sorry.
on the internet.
That was live on stream.
That was on
Yeah.
stream. Twitch has that for forever. You know, that's their archives. Trying to think if there's anything else other than, again, the weekly shout out to Pallywags for this fabulous layout we're sitting in, to Vic's Draws of Top Down Tabletop for the just idyllic character art that will be cycling again right beneath my visage here on stream. And then lastly, the cycle has begun anew, and we are moving back, continuing the counterclockwise circle for the tarot cards for the session. I believe it's you,
Are you
Hannah.
sure you don't want to do it because it's your birthday?
No,
I mean,
I don't want to break from tradition. I did it last
Okay.
time, and I shouldn't get special treatment. Even though I totally should.
well, here's what I'll say.
I'll
you
take
did,
it- I'll
you
take
did
it.
get skipped by Woody, and then we went to you. So this is the full reset.
Yep.
The full reset. We'll start here with you on your birthday,
Okay.
and now we're back on the
accept.
biblical cycle,
Yep.
right?
I accept the terms.
So pick a card, any card, to influence us today.
Influence.
What is it?
Oh,
What is it?
a really good one.
Ooh, that's death. The riding horse of metamorphosis. A great change
I know you.
is on the horizon.
New
us.
characters.
Woo! Okay.
Great.
TPK
I mean, listen.
with gods? Whoa. How did we fuck up that bad? Stay tuned.
Is that a TUK, Total Universe kill?
It's a TDK, total deity kill.
Great. Fabulous. We're sent straight to the god sleep. Do not pass go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. After a little break, we are now going to descend back through the stars to the world of Regolus Prime. Last session was an interesting one. Just a quick little recap. We had found our gods lingering on the hearth, having recently returned there after an excursion and meeting a new god, Hylan. And in this session, it became clear that some years had passed since your last arrival on Regolus, so you were sort of dealing with that before you were called up to have a meeting with one of the brothers Celestial Vikestar, who you met with in their own little prime domain, or a pocket of their prime domain, to talk about a group of individuals who had been sort of behaving strangely as far as Vikestar's senses could pick up. A bunch of worship had disappeared from a small settlement called Brighthorn, and these four faces that kept showing up that seemed to be important for the future of your guys' existences, or the world's existence to some extent. So you took that information and you said that you would, at some point check that out, cast some quiet, stealthy investigations that way, before you briefly stopped with Hylan at the Mind Bleed, if I remember correctly. Had Hylan take a dive and see a vision of a shining, massive city on the coast, before then venturing down back to Heart of God, Ystävä, where you found things had changed, right? The city has expanded, the tree city, right? The tree itself has more growth to it, it's expanded more into the woods, the domiciles, the housing, it's all built up, and there's a new guild that's been seemingly established, right? The Nevrik. And you were meeting with the founder of the Nevrik, Tamzin, a familiar face, when it became clear that Ünen had been leading these people, to some extent at least, and was referred to as, like, Your Honor, my liege, very, very sort of noble titles. And apparently Unen's been doing this for some time. And we ended the session, and this moment we'll pick right back up on, as you were all having tea with Tamzin in the Nevrik tent. Walking in through the tent flaps were a slightly wiser looking Ulveran and Ünen, clad in resplendent, shimmering elven regalia, or Elvenan regalia. And I believe the last words were something along the lines of, "Isn't this a surprise?" from Ünen down at the base of the tent.
Let's call him Tunin.
Tunin down at the... Well, which one is Tunin? That's the question. Who's who? As we enter season 5 of Westworld. So, we'll pick back up right here. So you've got Ulveran and Tunin down by the entrance of the tent. All of you sitting, or I think you guys were sitting, right? At least a couple of you had taken a seat around the big desk at the head of this sort of tent sighting with Tamzin drinking the tea. And this is where we find ourselves, with about 120, 150 feet of space and some decline there between the pair of you, and a lot of tension. Tamzin is sort of like, but you are... I thought... And Ünen, much to Overon's quiet sort of demeanour, who's clearly just gauging the situation, hand resting lightly on that big book at their hip. Ünen is just standing there, arms crossed, a little bit of a smirk on the face. But the room is quiet.
Ünen stands up. And starts walking towards Ünen.
Just like slowly walking like from the table and down?
Yeah.
Okay. Hylan is gonna lean over to the two of you, still like watching Ünen walk down, lean over, still tea in the hand. Which one's which?
I'm not sure. Just watch. I think we'll find out.
Just takes a big like extra loud slurp of the tea.
Anyone want to place bets?
Tamzin, as you're walking down, my lord, lords.
I flash them a look.
Roll me a quick little intimidation check.
Ooh.
Very good.
Not that I'm really worried about.
10.
10?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Solid 10.
Tamzin sort of looks a little taken aback, less frightened and more kind of alarmed. And the pair of you still sitting near Tamzin, watch him sit down and kind of like grab onto the edge of his desk a little bit. Very wary, very wide-eyed. Is there anything else either of you are going to do as you see Ünen walking down?
Just gonna watch.
Gonna let it
Great.
play out.
As you're walking down, you can see that Overon sort of leans over into Tunen's ear and clearly speaks something. And Ünen just sort of inclines his head, is watching you mostly, eyes fixed on you. He gives it makes a couple of gestures at Overon, but again, does nothing as you approach. What do you do?
I step forward until, like, just past what for a normal person would be the uncomfortable level
like
of
just
distance.
a little,
you know, like
kill.
everybody has like the line.
It's their orbit. You've passed decisively into their orbit.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And stone expression and just nothing but boring holes.
Right, just staring dead through.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say it's a remarkable facsimile. Very clever, isn't it? Who sent you? He leans in, getting it sort of like moving into your orbit a little bit, like really, really close. Yeah, literally, like if he tilted his head, you could start hearing the swooning violins playing. But he sort of moves past.
Is this therapeutic?
Like,
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I've read about this in the simulations, but now that it's in front of me, the opportunity.
Loki season 2?
Yeah, literally. he sort of moves kind of parallel to the height with your exact head, so his chin just drifts over your shoulder a little bit, and in just a hushed voice, in Celestial, he whispers, "Do you want to have a little fun? Do you want to play?" He leans back. Sort of one of his haunches are getting crossing his arms. I ask you again, who sent you? Not again! Not again! I hope she can feel it somewhere. I hope she can feel that she's being honoured across the way.
It's so accurate.
Are you afraid somebody's looking for you? What did you do?
I wasn't, exactly, and now it's a bit suspicious, is it not?
Because we came down here?
What? And Tamzin again is like now a little watching the pair of you, still like hands touching the desk but beginning to move a little bit. And Tunen sort of straightens up, loosens up a little bit.
I start to activate my gravity well ability.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a thing where I go.
Yeah, it's just like a shift in
Like
in the momentum. Yeah, and this is the one where you're drawing in.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the saves for that? Just for my own thought.
Let me pull up the shit. It's my birthday, folks. Give me a break.
Stat block pit stop.
Well, we're pit stopping. Hello to everyone from Top Down Tabletop. We love you. And yes, let's do crossover.
Oh,
Where they're epic level and we're epic level.
Yes. That would kind of be fun.
That would be that'd be chaos. Hot chaos, but hot. Emphasis on the hot.
Yeah.
If that wasn't clear.
Absolutely.
DM Shanks, it's quite adjusted.
It'd be
5e
really
at this
fucking
point.
hot.
It's using the 5e rules as a guideline, as a vague suggestion.
They're more
of
like
where we're at.
guidelines anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck me, I can't.
Is this the racial trait or the?
This is gonna be from the gravity.
Yes,
night.
indeed. I think I have that somewhere.
I do as well.
Crying.
I don't know what's happening.
Sorry guys, looking for this. But the point is that
Oh,
you're
my computer's actually just figured you fucked up.
clipping its way through. That's fine. I can. But you're trying to pull him in or everything in.
I think at the way that if I remember it correctly, is at first at first level of it's not really a huge amount of pull. It would only be I guess it would be with the
I've got it here.
within 5 feet.
So you're embodying the blah, blah, blah. In a 15-foot sphere centered on you, gravity's warped to pull creatures in your direction. At the start of their turn, which, they make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, they're pulled 5 feet closer to you. Creatures within 5 feet of you have disadvantage on dex saves while they're in that area. And their speed is halved and you have opportunity attacks. You can use it once per short or long rest. Okay. But it's quite upgraded now. But still you're... are you trying to pull him enough that he's going to fall prone? Or just sort of
No.
keep him in that well, basically?
It's more of an activation of feeling it. I want
the
him
pressure.
to feel it.
Got it. Okay. So, given that he's already in, I'm not, after all that, I won't have him roll a necessary save for it, but basically you sort of let that force sort of shift within you, that polarity switch, so that the area around you the air thickens, and ripples as if you were, for you guys looking down from the desk, it looks like Ünen is sort of surrounded in heat haze almost, and things like the carpet is like shifting upwards a little bit. Some pieces of furniture are beginning to rattle and drift a little bit, and you see Tunen's shoulders sort of hunch over for a moment before he straightens himself. Well, I'd be happy to entertain you in my quarters, perhaps, and we can discuss your arrival here. The pair of you, I, of course, recognize. I wonder why it is that you have played such a fun trick, perhaps? Or brought a gift, maybe?
I think we'll talk in your quarters, and we'll figure this all out.
That'd be nice, right? Good. Good, we can do that then. I'll let you all finish your tea, shall I?
I'm not thirsty. I'll just come now. We all ready?
Yeah, I think we get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's nothing much to get to the bottom of, save for asking you all a few questions of my own.
Can I do a vibe check to see if he's about to like gank us or some shit?
Yeah, I'll say this is
Yeah,
more of a
I
specific
also need a vibe
insight
check,
check,
yeah.
but
Hashtag vibe check.
but less for direct lies, right? Yeah, the vibe check.
I'm
Well,
the
roll
god-
me a vibe
I'm the
check.
god of vibes here.
All right.
Damn.
Patron saint of
vibes.
vibes.
Okay. 14 plus
25.
25. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Did you really?
I did.
You rolled a natural 20? Well,
Okay.
First
it's like,
roll.
it's like barely even shocking anymore.
That's
you know?
for a total
death,
of 30.
taxes, Drew rolling natural
Yeah.
20s. Constants. Assureds.
Absolute universal assurances.
Put it on your calendars.
That's a total of 30.
Cool. Great. So it's what, 25 and 30?
Yep.
So the pair of you, you definitely don't sense any active, like, malicious intent. It doesn't feel like, you know, the words of an assassin drawing you into some back room before you're brutally flanked and ganked and drawn and quartered. There's clearly something going on here behind the words, but it doesn't feel negative. If that was the vibe that you were looking for necessarily.
Okay. Yep.
And again, he leans over, and you see his fingers sort of dance. Roll me a perception check, the two of you. I don't think you necessarily notice it if you're more bored into him and you're close enough.
It's 14.
14?
15.
Yeah, I mean, the pair of you can sort of see a little light flickering in between his fingers as if he was rolling a coin, kind of. But it sort of flickers over this white light and then disappears. And as he's sort of whispering to Overon and does that, Overon just straightens, bows, turns to up towards, you know, the expanse of the tent and up the little ramp towards you guys. And then in this new sharpened language that is more refined and recognizable as something akin to Elven, you hear Overon speak. Guildmaster Tamzin, I will come and visit upon you later. We shall discuss your upcoming business, yes? And perhaps lay this to rest. Good afternoon to you. And Overon pivots and leaves. And Ünen turns to do so. We'll keep things conspicuous. Follow after me when you're ready and meet within the heart tree. Not the heart tree. Meet within the... It's too much. Too many threads. I can feel them. I can see all the sheet music here. Meet within the...
Heart of God.
The entrance to Heart of God, and I'll have my dais meet you to bring you to my chambers. See you soon, guests. And he gives you a wink, and then turns.
I'd like to point out, he has a hard time walking away.
You basically watch him turn around and like
Have you ever tried to get out
down.
of the ocean?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a bit of like a current pulling you back out?
It's kind of like that, but if the ocean was also made of sticky tar molasses, right? Like, he has to like bend down at the hips a little bit and like half waddle through the air until he breaches that threshold, at which point he sort of skates back out of the room. You can, the pair of you, including Hylan, you see Tamzin sort of like loosen a little bit, but sort of shuffles back into his chair. Thanks, Ava.
The cone.
It
takes everything down.
I have to say it perhaps should not be a surprise that each time I run into you, the days become much more eventful than I would have thought. He gazes down to Ünen. Are you still just stock-still standing there?
You see around Ünen a moment of intensifying the
that he
gravity
isn't
well
rippling up
to the point where maybe even like parts of the ground around him like start to crack a little bit. But it's like a flex and then like a letting go of it, and it dissipates.
A build and release of tension, basically, right?
It's
You hear
like
like
a
gravel crack,
some
wood bending a little bit. Oh my. A build and release of tension.
The hidden meanings.
Yeah. Say, God of Force, say more. Enough of that. Yeah, like you can hear the wood creaking and some of the stone under the floor of the tent crack before that haze fades away, allowing you to stand up even a little straighter. But you, with Tamzin watching that brief moment,
Lord Nevrik, should I be concerned?
I don't think so, but I mean, there's something we need to figure out.
Yeah. Yes, well, perhaps it would be best if you went and sorted that then.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure. To be frank, it is not every day that you see the leader of your people twice in the same space. In fact, I can safely say this is the first time that has happened.
Understandable.
And I am quite a busy person, so I should get back to my tasks, seeing to the scouts and whatnot. I hope you enjoyed your tea.
It was great.
Good.
Be well.
I old lady Pat.
he just sort of like shrinks a little bit into himself.
I cast Old Lady Pat
Cast.
at Sith level.
What is that? Enchantment? Question mark? Necromancy?
Necromancy.
It
Drains the
steals a
life from
little
it.
bit of
Yeah,
your life
yeah.
force.
We've all been there.
It's minuscule.
Yeah, you pat him on the face a little bit, and he just sort of like sinks into his shoulders a bit and takes another sip of his tea.
Do say hello before you go.
Of course.
And then he like sort of nods at you and tries to avoid putting Ünen in his field of vision as he starts to rifle around for some of the paperwork in the desk and starts, basically trying to find some kind of parchment or busy work to busy himself with.
Ünen, are you ready to go?
Hylan again sort of leans into the pair of you still sitting, like taking another.
Gross sip. Just how Woody drinks his coffee.
It's takes a long sip of it. Should I go and tell someone back home about this? I feel like I feel like I should tell someone about this.
You mean up there?
Yeah.
Or?
I think. It's a little weird, right?
As long as it's not.
Law?
No.
Or
I mean,
Aldwin? Ooh. What if you went and found Vikestar?
Vikestar. Speak to him. Oh.
Just let him know. Just say, hey, this is happening. And
Yeah.
bat it on over to his
Actually-
court.
And he like sticks his hand in one of his little pockets, and he has some kind of like leather moment, I think, underneath the outer layer of his gear.
He looks like a child.
Pulls out this little strange angular black stone. That's a really good idea. I'm gonna go. I'll be back later.
Okay, just give us a shout.
Yeah, I'll find you. Yeah.
And give him an old lady pat, too.
He like, as opposed to Tamzin sinking in, he like really receives it.
Oh, great.
He looks like
He's
the
a
kind of
cow.
guy that will absolutely
Also
visit
because
his
you
grandmother
100%
just for like
like
grandmother's
his
milk and
grandma.
cookies. You know what I mean? So like the old lady Pat definitely like. All right, I'll see you later. It's just like chugs the tea, puts it down, gives a bow to Tamzin, and dashes out the door.
Let's go. Are you okay? You don't seem okay. Should we find out what's happening and then we can do a damage control?
I am quite perturbed.
Uh-huh. Why do you think... Let's go. We'll get answers and then maybe you'll be less or more.
Ünen
What's
walks
that to
out.
do with that bet? Oh, gone.
Drift straight out the.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Not walks. Drifts.
To keep up the facade, I'm still hobbling like an old lady.
It's like you're paddling through space,
Yeah.
right? With the,
With a grunt.
you know, yeah. It's some Eastern European myth where you've got like some hobbly old witch who like flies around. Well, does she fly in the cauldron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's it. Because there are some depictions where
100%,
she has the like
pretty sure.
the broom of just like that's basically a pestle of branches, and she
Yes.
does the same thing. Like
If it's Eastern European, it's
it's
Baba Yaga.
always Baba Yaga.
I am
Great.
the Baba Yaga.
I mean, you're about to start that myth for this world. So
We shall see.
you've been here twice, 3 times the charm.
Baba Yaga.
So you're sort of waddling afterwards at some speed, leaving at least for a brief moment you in the tent alone with Tamzin there.
How have you been?
Busy. My lord, busy.
What's this business that Overon was speaking of?
Well, it is what we do. Here. The Nevrosil, we are... It is our business now to venture forth for the time that may come, many seasons to pass when the forest is not enough.
So you're something like scouts exploring.
We are everything we need to be. We started by taking stock of what we were, and then started to take stock of what was around us and those we encountered. And we've grown to so many things. Under the name of someone once who showed us there was a great deal more than what we understood.
That's incredible.
It is only the beginning. My lord, only the beginning. But there is lots to do. And lots of places to make our mark on. And there are many other people we found. Some of our own are getting restless as it is.
What do you intend to do with all of this?
What do you mean?
What are you going to do once you've explored everything, done everything?
Well, I hope that will take a good bit longer than you make it seem.
Well, you've done so much in the time that...
Oh, perhaps I make it sound too grand. I am only looking to impress my present company, perhaps. The last time you were here, it was made clear to some of us quite how small we were. And I think the smaller we feel, the more content part of us feels, and the more anxious the rest of us. Each and every individual battles that, and we, as the Nevrik, choose to walk that exact line. Whether it is in finding and keeping our wealths, or making sure the maps look right with each passing day. And those we find who we think may be helped by our presence, that's our purpose as well. It must not perhaps sound the most enticing life to one of your stature.
Oh, I think it sounds amazing. You're learning and growing and experiencing. And that's... you're feeling things.
We can but try. I felt a lot of things this morning. That is certain.
That's all a part of being alive. That's so important.
Still learning that. Still learning that. It's what's so sad about those we've met. They don't have the time that we have to learn. So that's what we help them with. But I will distract you from dealing with this.
Right.
Yes.
We will take care of this.
I hope so. It would be a great shame to leave things in this strange way. In this strange shape.
Well, I will go. Nevrik reaches out. Grab.
He stutters a moment and then leans and grabs the inside part of your elbow and leans in and a little sort of frantically gets a little too close. The fires keep burning the woods to the north. We have not heard from the scouts from Helathan in some days. What with what happened today, it worries me. And then he leans back. It is always too long between your visits, it would seem. I look forward to seeing you before this is all done.
Absolutely. I will make sure before I leave.
Yes. And he just takes out a bunch of random pieces of paper and starts just frantically scribbling on them.
You know, like Donald Trump after he's done with people, and
Yeah.
he's just like...
Literally, it's like he's not even really writing anything, he's just scribbling away at stuff.
Chomp. Okay.
Are you gonna head outside?
Yeah.
Okay. So the pair of you who headed out quite quickly back into the bright sort of mid-afternoon sun glittering over the massive settlement of Ystävä are immediately greeted by that small, berobed little goblinoid person. Your visit was well, then?
Do you want it to be well?
Well, I have been told to escort you some ways.
We'll follow you.
Yes, there was another.
He'll catch up.
Onwards to the tree.
And he again down low, almost he doesn't quite get to the all four point, but he leans over so his hands are swinging as if he's more used to walking on all fours.
Like an itty bitty T-Rex.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like a tiny T-Rex in a toga, basically.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, going away. And he like skitters along down the sort of the dusted path that you came towards that leads to that big route that sort of arches. He goes quite fast, quite quickly before turning around. Come on then.
Oh, okay.
Up the stairs we go.
I'm trying to wait as long as I can before I let that accidentally get into it. I guess I got 5 sessions. So...
the master wants to talk to you. Come to the tree.
So do you guys start following?
Yeah.
Okay. So you pass along with him. And there's definitely a difference between the two journeys. The last time you came here, there was surprise, there was awe, there was a lot of, tension directed Unen's way, and now people are noticeably moving away from you. And it's not like a spit on the outsiders, on the non-believers, but it's just like an avoidance, a turning of the shoulder, a busy work. Much like Tamzin in the office, these people are like finding suddenly things to do, cleaning their doors, or polishing roots, or clambering the you know what I mean? Like they're just moving away.
Have you seen the Family Guy Star Wars movies?
Yes.
There's one moment where these two stormtroopers are just like, or these two like Empire soldiers are just like digging around. Like Vader walks by and they just go, Empire stuff, Empire stuff, Empire
literally.
I would like
yeah,
to cast prestidigitation, and every footstep I take, it would look like little flowers and grass
just
grows.
Tufts of grass.
Yep. Yep.
Brilliant. Okay.
That's it.
The thing where the grass grows as the foot leaves, and as soon as you leave the spell's radius, like the grass withers away. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay. Can both of you roll me a perception check?
Absolutely.
And then, Nevrik, I assume you're going to sort of try and follow the path back and catch up to them?
Yeah.
21.
21?
18.
Yeah. You both can sort of hear more than you can see, especially once you start doing the fancy footwork. Once people are behind you, once you pass by them, you can hear murmuration, right? You can hear muttering. You can't exactly discern what they're saying in wholesale, but there's more of the earlier tone, right, of that the awe that you're inspiring in people, but it's much quieter and it's done when your backs are turned, right? As you are led under that root and round back into the opening. I think I should describe the tree, if you were looking at it from a top-down perspective and without the sort of obscurity of the branches of the canopy. The huge trunk itself is sort of many-faceted, like a 12-sided shape, or it's a very big, but a bunch of irregular sides to it almost. You know how the trunk of a tree is perfectly circular. And right at the front of the tree, where the archway opening is, there are two exceptionally big roots that sort of bisect. And I think we talked about how there are a couple sort of bigger sections of these roots. One of which houses the tent, and that's the one you're coming from. So you go under that large root and then back into this V-shaped almost courtyard that is backed up to the edge of the forest edge, right, the tree line where you initially stepped forward from, and then sort of tapers up towards the tree where these roots converge and shape into that archway opening, and that's where this little goblinoid attendant. Did I ever give you the name of... No, not the name of the goblins themselves, but the name of the...
This person? I don't think so.
No, not of this person, but of...
the race?
The race, yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
You said they
So
were
I feel like
goblins.
that would have... certain piece of information of the world, given your particular jobs outside, I feel like, especially you as the Afterlife and of emotions, you're connected to all the people who are connected to your domain, right? So you would sort of be aware of what they were called by now. What we would understand today as elves are known, of course, as the Elven, right? As the truly old-blooded. The high elves are called the Elven. You are dash Elven. The other ones, the ones who are more on the outside of the tree and in the forest, they're called the Elven, E-N, Elven, like Tamzin. The ones like Sartor, right, that pale one, and all the other three-eyed ones, they are known as Urken, Urkhenn. the angular, sort of strange, really tall ones, the ones that kind of look like La with the backwards bending joints, they're called Dirven, Dirvhenn. And these little squat ones are called Golven, Golvhenn.
Sounds like Gollum to me.
Yeah, well, now that I've dug myself...
Dirvan and Gollum.
Yeah. Great. Dirvan and Gollum. I hate the holes that we dig ourselves into when we write these things. They sound so good at the time.
They sound
when
great.
I'm like on the subway, like, fuck yeah, you know?
Master's going to love this.
So, you're being brought under the big root and through and into the courtyard and then into the archway that's fairly bustling now. And, you know, there are people moving in and out of it at quite a regular pace. And as soon as you pass into the tree, and this is probably around Nevrik when you're sort of making your own way and catching up to the group just by roads. If you're going straight to the archway, you'll see them passing in there. So you all three end up walking in at once. The inside of the tree is still well lit. This huge column-like space with the stairwells running up the inside of it, and it's all lit with less so that iridescence of the first time 500 years ago, but the sap in the trees, while there still is an iridescent glow about them, it mostly actively sheds this amber light into the inside of the tree. It's almost like the inside of the bark has become a little crystallized in its own sap and reflects a lot of the light, so it looks like the inner column of the tree itself is actually glowing this gentle amber color. And there are people dashing all the way about. You can see bustling work in different sort of pockets lodged in the inside of the tree. Lots of these little platformers rising up the empty column of the tree itself or down below your sight. And as you're brought right through sort of the crowd being parted for you by this little squat Golven scout, basically.
Pardon me, move aside, please, move aside. Business attended to, move aside.
You know, just scrabbling his way. Still with the whispering murmurs behind you as you pass. You reach the edge of the open column, right? The open column of the inside of this tree. It sort of is fenced off by these two almost banisters of wood that come around on either side and open up into something of a gangplank in the middle of the open tree column. And there are a bunch of these little gangplanks all over the inside of the tree. But as soon as you get there, the little goblin stands on the edge of the gangplank and looks up and lets out this high-pitched whistle that I can't really do, like a full finger whistle.
I think I'll blow the mic if I do it.
I mean, do you want to try it?
Probably.
Yeah, very much like that. Are we good?
okay.
Are we good,
It's
crew?
fine.
Nice.
Do we get that? Do we need one more take?
Yeah, is that clean? Is the odor clean?
Ava looked at me. She knows that whistle's for her. Hi.
Great. And no sooner than this goblin whistles, but this large hexagonal plate descends quite quickly through the column of the tree, and it's lined almost in a snowflake pattern with these sort of blue glowing gemstones on the bottom and on the top as you see it slow down and plunge into place on the gangplank. And this little Golven assistant,
After you, fine guests. Please.
stays in the half bow.
Old lady Pat, and I get on the platform.
I follow.
Still
Can I-
grass growing
Can I
under my
ask-
feet.
Yeah, I just assume, unless you otherwise tell me, that is pretty much a constant application of the spell. And I love this. I want to keep finding traits for the mortal forms, right? Like the things that happen when these mortals are around. Because that's now another one of oh, the ground buckles when Unen's around, I
Angry.
guess.
When
Angy,
Unen's
Angy. Oh yeah, again, God of Force. So, can I just ask with these pats, what's the general emotion being conveyed there? Because regardless of whatever expression is on your face, is this like the touch of death brushing them? Is this like the not necessarily like you're draining their life, but is it? Just describe the act for me, because then I might have you roll something.
It's a comfort, Pat. It's
Like
like
a
it's
true
like a
grandma,
yes, like a you're safe with me,
Yeah.
like very very what is the trait? It's very nurturing.
Sure.
But she's also saying,
I-
you're mine.
You'll be mine one day.
This won't be the last time I touch you.
All of you are my children. Hush, hush.
Yes.
The shadow falls on you soon.
Let me know when you want to play backgammon later on.
Can I please just get... I can't decide. I think I want this to be a persuasion check, please. But I will allow you to add your wisdom modifier if you so choose. Depending on how much... If it's just like literally a tap, 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 or if you like this meaning something to people when you do it, I'll allow you to roll it with wisdom.
I think yes.
That's what I thought. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
29.
29. Okay. So you like, as he's done this whole shtick, he's led you in here, parted the throng, so you've given this little pat, the grandma pat. And you just sort of can feel him go a little bit slack under your, not like crazy, but like, yeah, like, tap, tap.
Not the Dementor.
Night, night. But the same way that Hylan responded, right? The little like, but without that vocalization. There's just a conveyance of this, the warmth that you've given is, you can feel it be received, and a little tension drop in the shoulders. So when you, it's all of the like little small pointy-eared pale, gremlinoid assistants. It's a little golem. It's a little like, master has given Dobby a sword. Kind of animal here going on. Yeah, you feel him sort of have a little release of tension there, a little relaxing in the shoulders, and as you pass by, you watch him sort of still bowed, but just give you a little smile and a nod as you head in.
His teeth are disgusting.
Like a pointed, like Cad Bane's.
You see?
Yeah, so much so that he can barely close his mouth, right? That it's just sort of like... They're a little more civilized looking than that. I assume you're just drifting onto the lift? Yeah. Okay. So the three of you get onto this little dais, the glowing dais, and as soon as you're on, the banisters sort of shift as if there was wind blowing through the wood, and they close in front of the gangplank after the goblin has passed back through them. And the dais quickly glows a little brighter, that snowflake-esque sigil, before rising straight up through the cylindrical column of the tree. It's a little dodgy. It's like, whoa! It's like when an elevator starts really, really fast. You know what I mean? It's 0 to 60 just suddenly you go right up. And perhaps it's a little strange. I'm not sure how you each feel about physical transit that isn't directly propelled by your own force.
It's a little weird for me.
Might be sort of old hat to you. You've been around here before, but even still, you mostly travel by your own thought, right? And this is not that. As you're pushed up through the tree, this sort of gentle breeze being rushed past you, both from the speed itself and from a temperature change somewhere above you. And it's moving fast enough through this humongous tree that it's actually kind of hard to see what's going on in the actual activity of the tree itself. But you have quite a ways to travel. You've got a couple minutes standing on this dais, rushing through this huge tree together.
Is everyone okay? Or are we still confused? What are you going to do when we get there?
I do not know.
Okay, that's fair. Yes.
Were you there? Did you hear about the bet?
Yes.
I think this is a result of you losing the bet. But I guess you kind of won. You didn't physically have to be here.
This has nothing to do with what was said in that bet.
Do you know
Whether or not that's his reasoning. It does not logically follow that my identity would be stolen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you handle this one.
The plate kind of just hums for a while, this rushing going by, the pleasant humming from underneath your feet. And it starts to actually pick up speed a little bit the higher it goes. Not, tremendously so. But you're on here for about 2 minutes with the tree rushing past you until you reach that threshold that you feel like you've traveled up too much tree. Like the tree's big, the tree is tall, but you've been clipping along on this little elevator for a while now. It's like in Mass Effect 1 before the Legendary Edition came out, and you were on the Citadel elevators for 6 years getting upstairs. This is what that's like, right? You're going up and up and up and up and up, and eventually what would be a darkened canopy starts to shine brightly as if there was sunlight pouring through, and that white light grows and grows and grows and grows until it suddenly, as you reach the level of this light, get enveloped in it, and everything slows to a still. And that white light softens a little bit, and you can feel a gentle breeze rushing through, and you can hear leaves rustling and birds chirping, singing this bird song. And as the light really sort of settles in, you find yourself still standing on this dais, this stone hexagonal platform that's now only gently, softly glowing, as this dais is nestled in what seems to be, impossibly, the literal very top of the canopy of the tree. There are some branches jutting out around you upwards, rich with leaves, and perched on all the littler branches that sprout off is like a whole family of small, like round little birds that look very similar to that weird, pudgy, iridescent sparrow shape. And they're everywhere, just chirping, almost singing at each other. And just at the edge of the dais, where the dais is settled up, and you've got the branches, verging off, branching off right after the edge of it, directly ahead of you. Around you can see the sky above you, the horizon as far as you can see, though it's sort of weird and hazy. Just where those branches start to jut out at the edge of the hexagon, sort of wound in branches, is something of a half moon shaped, not exactly desk, but piece of furniture made from the branches, with a bunch of little trinkets on them and sigils and tablets and things, behind which feet perched up on the actual platform itself, on this sort of furniture, this branch furniture itself, sits in midair Ünen, just sort of sitting there, going over this piece of parchment a little bit. Ah, you've come. That didn't take too long. Good.
Pause. Please don't talk like that with that face.
What? Why?
That's weird.
I know.
And you might be angering someone.
Oh, come on. Come on.
You have no right.
I'm not sure about no right. Not no right. I didn't mean it in any sort of offensive measure. I hope you understand. I was just following the strictures. I didn't do anything bad. Really.
This has to end.
Oh, well, certainly. I mean, the deed is long done. So, let's see. Ünen can make something of a trouble. You've of course actually a great exit point for this character in the story here. We can find a great write out somewhere. Yes, we can do that. How would you like to go?
I'm not some storybook character. You have not thought ahead. about your actions.
I think I may have struck a nerve. Okay. Let me perhaps...
Wipe my visage from your face. Now.
Then he flickers his fingers again, and that little ball of light sort of swishes around, and then he flicks his hand up, and the ball grows into a sphere about volleyball-sized. That you now recognize that white ball of flickering light and all those weird pieces of writing and scripture sort of chaotically fluttering around in there. And it just... the light sort of bathes over him like moonlight. And as it does, Ünen sort of melts off, sizzling into steam, leaving behind the refined, like, ivy-bound, sort of berobed in the forest, very sharp figure of Kirrehan. And once the visage of Ünen washes off, he flickers his fingers again, and that orb shrinks down a little bit, just to about the size of a tennis ball, really. He lets it rest in his palm, and he starts doing like David Bowie labyrinth tricks with it, while he's sort of sitting in the air.
Ystävä goes, oh, well, if we're getting comfortable, and I shift into like cloaked Ystävä, what I like look like similarly on like the, I almost said the anvil. What is our home base called?
The hearth.
The hearth.
Yeah.
But like powered down,
Sure.
so I don't like melt human eyes.
Just that sort of hooded, unknowable shape, right? Like, or what's the word? Not disguised, but hidden shape, visage, without any of the external godly, like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I'll do the same. Never
just like
sheds,
shifts back wings,
unfurl.
Now, doesn't that feel better? You're right. That does feel better. I'm sorry. But listen, we had an agreement, and it had to be done. There was nothing, you know.
So
No hard feelings. Really.
This had to do with the bet, then. That's what you're saying.
Well, I mean, it's in the book. So he stops like fiddling with it for a bit and gestures to the little orb of flickering writing and light. I put it down, and once written in here, it's very difficult to change, you understand. And all it said was, as we agreed, that given you lost the bet, Ünen would have to govern the elves for at least a century.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ünen did.
You did 5.
Yes, well, you didn't come back.
We were on our way home.
Well, I mean, listen, it's not that long for these people. They live a long time. I did good things.
I don't really see a problem with this.
I don't. I mean, it's I'm not going to go and change it. You'd have to take that up with fish bigger than myself, and as it is.
Did you do anything to sully Unen's name at all?
Well, no. I mean, they think very highly of you. They already did. That's why it was so easy. I wasn't going to do anything that you know changed your resume too much. That didn't fit the bill. Let's see. We established that well, you're going to have to pass this title down to someone now. We've set up a sort of method here, and there was always the plan that I was never going to be the only one. You understand that you were never going to be the only one, but we're called the Elgaris now, the spirit leader. So that's something that we're going to have to figure out. The other big things, I mean, you saw Tamzin again, yes? I figured it might make sense, given that he was quite passionate about it. He was quite passionate. And we had to do some kind of, you know, sightseeing. I'm happy staying here, but, you know, I didn't want them to feel... I instilled in them some kind of a drive when I first made Varan, you know. It's natural for them to, like seeds, right? They spread and they take root, and they want to spread roots. So that's one of the other things I did is the Nevrasil, of course.
And then the only other hard and fast decision you made is that there's a whole issue up in the top of the forest. You can probably see it as he points out over the canopy, and you can just see in the far distance, just through the slight blur of this strange little demi-plane going on here, some smoke, some black smoke wisping far in the distance. There's that whole mess, and we put a small encampment there to deal with the fire.
But see,
what caused the fire?
The fire did, really. That's the rub. That might be something that your mother has to talk about, because it's not from here, and it's upset. It's been upset for a long... It was doing this when you were last here, actually. That's the problem. It's been doing it for so long, and it really doesn't know why, I don't think, but it's causing them a lot of hardship, and I didn't really feel like that was necessary. I hope that's okay. Again, you see what I mean? I'm not like, turning them into warmongers, but I thought, well, what would Ünen do if Ünen were here? And then I remember, well, he is here, so I just did it. Great.
Oh God, I'm in too good of a mood as a person to roleplay this upsetness.
Staunch glumpies.
It's called acting.
Sit again. I'm glad we all are on the same page there.
Oh, funny.
There are other little bits. I was here for a good few moons.
Mm-hmm.
So we could chat about this for forever. But let's not tell Mummy Dearest about this one.
Oh. Do you think Aldwin knows?
yeah, he does.
That makes me
Actually, I'm fine with
happy.
Yeah, he does. It is what it is.
How do you feel about Aldwin?
Oh well, he's not so bad, really. Once you can sort of figure out where you lie and where he likes you to lie with him, you just have to stay on one side of that margin. He's a good bloke. He just is very particular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very particular. So he has actually he has a friend down here who does a bit of reconnaissance for him. So there's not much point in trying to hide things from him that happen down here in this particular garden.
Friend.
Friend. Yeah. Just we all get a little bored and a little tired, and I think he tried doing some of Mummy's work, and it kind of worked, I think.
Do other of your siblings have friends down here?
Yeah, she does.
Well, other than... Right, but...
Well, I mean, I think so. Certainly feels that way. Can't you feel
Is this how you keep tabs on what goes down here, since... Apparently...
I mean, I have a whole family here.
Yeah,
all of the birds, like... This is what I do. And there was you, of course. You were sort of halfway there beforehand, of course. But yeah, I mean, you can... if you listen, you can hear them. All of them. Somewhere. Yeah.
You said the fire is in the west?
No, fire's up north. Fire's up north.
Mm-hmm.
We got the monkeys out west.
I'm sorry?
They were the humans. They're really getting their shit together, it looks like. Sort of. Not like we are here.
I apologize.
Alarm break. Yeah, I mean they're definitely doing more than they were. But they're quite lonely, I think. I mean
They worship what they see, I think, but they don't really know about us too much. It's all indirect.
I want to go see more. I want to spend more time down here.
Sure.
Check out this fire.
Sure.
Do you need help with anything?
Well, I mean, do you... this is where we lie, I guess. Ünen, where are you at?
Where are you in your
Where are you
brood mood?
Oh, brood.
Nevrik,
We
where?
should talk about that. I have some ideas.
This first, then that.
Yeah.
Uni?
Is that what we call it? Uni? I like that.
What's done is done.
No, I know that. The question is, what would you like to do next? Because if this is a bad thing, if this is not the mood, I'm happy to deal with it. We just have to figure out who you want to give this role to and why.
I know not these people.
You do. You know them enough. There are I have at least 4 safe bets, and then after that, it's pretty much your game, really. Please, I mean, just
when you make them the title that you've given yourself,
yes,
will they have a longer life? Will they have different abilities?
Well,
What's going to happen?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I hadn't really thought about it. They get access to this space. In theory, because that's the way I made it. And if they don't get access to it, they'll think it's weird that they don't. And they might get a little bit of juice. You know, a little bit of a hike up the ladder. Not too much, nothing crazy, nothing like our level. But again, they've seen us do things as the Elgaris that they would sort of expect the Elgaris to then be able to do. Right, so there's that certain margin to it. But that's what I'm saying. A couple of the easy choices, you can't go wrong with any of the 4 leaders, really, because they're all sort of at that level anyway. Right, so they make for an easy choice. I guess Tamzin too, and then after that you've got your pick of the litter of the entire Elvinan civilization. Any old blood's up for grabs. I mean, and if you want to keep doing it yourself, you're more than welcome to. They like you.
I think it is unwise to continue to meddle in their affairs as much as you already have.
It wasn't really me. Not really.
The goal was to guide them.
And I did.
In a gentle...
guide them. All I did was facilitate the things they wanted facilitated. I didn't plant any seeds in their own heads. Not really. Other than the one we might have to talk about a little bit. But it's nothing bad, it's just something that I did do. Right?
What is it?
Well, there are a lot of other worlds, you know that, right? There's one particular one that's fairly close by that seems to be pretty important to this world that they're really interested in. So I opened a door and they now have access to it and are thinking about moving some folks there. I don't super know how good of an idea that is, but it's certainly fun.
Do you want to explain it more?
I mean, there isn't a ton of explaining to.
What's the world? What's going on there?
I had a link to it anyway, because it's where I keep all my information back home. It's the place where I think magic comes from. I can't be sure, but I definitely draw power from it. It's why I was able to shape my libraries that way. But they're very in tune with it. We sort of designed them to be sort of adept at manipulating those energies. I didn't expect it to tether them there in return. So some of them feel a call to it. Urviran more than most. So I gave them access to a doorway. and it's way down in the brood pits, and so not many people have access to it anyway. But A, it's a door that doesn't close, so some of the juice is affecting some of the lower brood pods, and B, you can get lost pretty easy.
In the pits or in
No,
the...
pits. We have, you know, it's part of Ystävä. We know the pits. We made the pits, but the other place is not the same. Anytime you ever go in.
Do you mean to send? Does Overon mean to send Tamzin there?
I don't know. I don't do that much meddling. I'm not micromanaging all my people. I let them do what they want. So whatever Overon's business is with Tamzin is whatever their business is. But I know that's what one of the things on the mind of the people here is whether that world is worth exploring.
Have any of the brood pods that have been by the door, have any of them people come out different?
Well, we haven't opened those pods yet because we didn't know what was going to happen, and I wanted to be more prepared. And some of them we did lose. The very first. It's why we've been a little more wary about the pods down there, because some of them we just don't know where they went, and
like they're somewhere in the other world.
They're not in the pit anymore, and they didn't climb out. So
I'm all for this. I think let's roll the dice and see what happens, but should we maybe have a door, like an actual closable, sealable, or something that's guarded?
I mean,
it's just a lot
makes sense.
I mean, it looks like there's a lot of moving parts here, and maybe you'll just have somebody watching that so that you don't always have to, Ünen or whoever else comes after.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. I'm not so good at making, like, physical doors as I am the holes that the doors fit in. You might want to ask the brothers about that. They're good with that sort of thing. Or if we just want to train a bloke to stand in front of the gate and watch it, that's also fine. We have to be wary because it's this is what I'm talking about. They can sort of hear the doorway.
Oh.
And the closer they get to the doorway, the more interesting it is to them.
Mm-hmm.
It draws them in.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, that was kind of the point. And we're just gonna have to make sure that if we've got some one of them guarding it, they're like well vetted, right?
Ooh, Ünen.
So yeah, not too much. Really, truly, could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse.
There's a lot of things we could do. What do we want to do? What do we care about? I don't really care that much about the door. It will be interesting to see what happens.
It's not going anywhere also. I'm not taking it away.
There is a fire that's been perpetually burning since last visit.
And your mother might be involved.
Yeah.
How come you didn't say anything?
Yeah, before.
About the fire?
I don't know, because...
You didn't call Sindar and say, come down here and fix your mess?
Well, I don't think it's her mess exactly. She has a lot on her plate, you know, and she's kind of a lot. So I didn't really want to deal with that if I didn't have to. It's kind of a drag. So, you know, and it's a tricky situation. I think. It's hard to explain. That one. I don't think the fire is super happy about its condition.
Let's go talk to this fire. Let's make you do it.
Okay. This fire's alive?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
big time. Big time alive. And very upset.
Do you know what it's... we can go find out, actually.
Yeah, I mean, don't look at me. I'm just thinking, if you go, I want to know what am I feel like I've stepped on some toes. So I want to make sure that when I keep walking, I'm not stepping on any other divine feet with every step. So where are we at, friend? What do you want from me in this situation?
You do what you do. You do your thing because you want to do it. So keep doing that.
Well, but who am I doing it?
Do it as yourself.
Okay, so where have you gone? This is back circling around to the initial idea. They're going to be weirded out if you just leave suddenly and don't show up for 500 years, you know?
Seems spicy
He's
to
gone
me.
to the realm of magic.
That's a good exit point.
Ooh! Now that makes for
Would
a
that
good
not
plot
just
hook.
make them want to go there more?
Well, yeah.
Not
then
if
I
you
would
say
not be there.
not if you say don't go.
Because that always works.
Well, this is when we get a door.
Or you say you've gone to ensure the realm of magic is safe, and when you return, that's when it's safe for them to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you will never return until it's safe for them to go. Or you can say you die.
Ooh, wait. I like that. Do we want to... This is a... hope no one else is listening. It's a bit of a dodgy word, but... Do we want to give them a prophecy? X and X will happen when you return from your great journey?
Please. Let me play with my toys.
Get that on a t-shirt.
I think it's not a half bad idea.
Whatever ends this as quickly as possible. My purpose is not to be their king or leader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This gives you time to select a new one.
Okay. So.
I have always known my exact purpose.
Which is?
Clearly, you've forgotten your own.
Yikes. Sorry. Okay. Well, terribly sorry about that. Didn't mean to
Fix it.
get what? Yeah. Yes. Okay.
I'm tired of talking about it.
Well, I just need you to do a little more talking, but to them. I think it will mean a lot for you cathartically if you take this little dais down a couple flights and give a little bit of a speech or a couple sentences telling them X, Y, and Z. So that whatever you want particularly conveyed to them is conveyed, and I'll handle the particulars of a successive Elgarius and all that. I'll do the dirty work. I'll do the busy work. That's fine.
You know, what would you rather do?
I just want this to be over. To be quite honest.
I could pretend to kill you, and then take your place, and then I'd have to do everything. But you know what? You can take my face, and you can pretend to be, because I have all the faces.
I'll do it. I would. You just tell me what pieces to move, and I'll move the pieces.
Let them lead themselves.
That's all. Great. I can make sure that happens. I'll put it in the book even. I'll let you write it in the book if that makes you feel better. And I don't offer that much.
If you insist on meddling with their affairs as much as you have, do it as a third-party advisor, not a leader.
Well, I've got plenty else to meddle with. I can go elsewhere for a little while. I've been here 500 years. There's other fun things to do in the woods.
And do not take on my appearance again.
Had to fulfill a contract. We're a little overboard with it, but it's done. It's done. And maybe you'll think twice about making bets with the bookkeeper next time. But it's all water under the bridge. You want them to lead themselves? Is that what you want?
I don't care if you help them.
But primarily, right? That's what you want. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
I think you would prefer it if you were that bird the first time we were here instead of...
But not as
or-
voracious as an eater.
That's nothing I can control, mate. Just ask the rest of them. He points up to the canopy of birds sitting there, and they all in sequence, like, they laugh,
That's
this cackle
terrifying.
with like the human blunt teeth, all of them. This is just a family trait. Can't help it.
Bird fucker.
So yes, hang on. Gives you a wink at that. Before he expands that orb again to about sort of inflatable beach ball size, and there are flickerings of runes and actual parchment swirling around in it like mad, and his eyes mimic it. They become tiny versions of this thing as the writing slows, and the whole thing becomes like a bowl of papers all stitched together with moving words and sigils and glyphs, and he stills them into a circle before etching something off the book, writing that is there being disintegrated into like ash, and then reforming into a new text before solidifying, flashing, and then shrinking it all back down into an orb this big, before then turning into the little coin-sized thing and disappearing as his eyes turn back to normal. And it's done. It's done. You don't even have to make a speech. You can if you want.
No.
Right then. I will take back my place as a little chirping advisor for a little while before moving on to greener pastures. But do let me know if you need anything. I am here for you. I do promise that. The work is done. It's done.
Door or fire?
Fire.
Fire.
Seems the fire's calling.
You don't want to come to the fire too? Be fun?
Oh, I've been there. I've had my fill of it. Quite thanks. That's something I don't really feel like doing right now. It's a little boring. So, not gonna...
Can I tell if he's lying? If it's more than just boring?
You
If he's
can roll me an
avoiding?
insight check.
Is there any fear? Like,
Yeah.
going from there.
I mean,
we're
if you want to
fucking
roll an
doing
insight check, you're more than welcome to.
Crit fail.
I might
Crit
have to.
fail.
You'll just focus on his teeth, which are
That's
the
fine.
exact same as the rest of the birds.
28.
28?
Insight. Birthday roll. God damn it, 10.
10. Yeah, again, also distracted by the teeth, I think. His, like, really unwieldy teeth. You, Nevrik, more in tune with emotions than others.
Rub my dice a little
There's
bit.
something... Don't say that on the stream
Just
ever
like,
again.
right, just put him down your pants, take him back
Rub my
out.
dice a little bit.
Rub my
Hello.
dice.
I forgot to put in the... where's the... I need to fix this keyboard, I think, now.
She hit me.
It was Kyle who did it. Okay. Yeah, there's something a little behind the surface. Yeah, there's something more than boring to him. That's all I'll say. There's something, yeah.
Vamos a fuego.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's
She's
go
invented
fire.
Spanish
So,
Let's go to fire.
he gives a nice long bow. A pleasure doing business, friends. I will see you in due time. As he stands back up, he tilts his chin way too far back, so his neck stretches as his head peels back and into the back of his like shoulder blades. As you can see, his nose and mouth start to appear through his chest, as his whole form ripples and condenses down back into that little iridescent sparrow.
I hated that so
That cackles,
Visual.
and that cackle forces the rest of them to do it in sequence. They all like, and they just fly off in a flock.
I hated before, I hated during, and I hated after.
Great. Leaving you all alone on this sort of demi-plane treetop that's half in Regolus, half not.
I think we should just go straight to the fire. Don't go down and then go out.
Yeah.
That might be a better idea.
Also, we are still in our forms. That. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
You better, and I think you have to change before we leave this demi-plane. Otherwise, you'll be stuck like this. I can change at will, but I don't know if we go out of this demi-plane if you'll be able to switch into anything that's not you.
I still look elfin.
Unless you want to just look like you.
I'll change.
Changing back into the sort of dull blue Urken form. Okay. You shift, and then you can sort of see that wisp of smoke far on the horizon. Do you all just want to god travel there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, what's the word?
Might as well.
The vampire word. Can't remember. It's useless.
Vampire in what?
They do the
Mist.
They do a thing in that one book series I was talking about where they like travel long distances of it. It's like, oh, it's flitting. There we go. Found it. They flit, where they just like skip through countries basically. So you focus on that smoke and let your minds just bleed into their greater consciousness as you mingle with the energies that form the rest of you that aren't planeswalking, and you just bounce through space, right? Reality peels apart like fruit around you. You can see all of the colors bleed through as you speed across and down diagonally, because I assume you don't want to appear just floating in the middle of nothing, right?
Right.
You sort of...
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
Okay.
listen, is what it is.
I'll follow.
You drift down and through space until you sort of fly almost as energy through the tree line into the woods, and then come to a skittering halt as the world stitches itself back into material reality around you in a particularly dense and chilly part of the forest. It's very, very quiet. There isn't a whole lot of animal sound immediately around you. And the trees themselves, not only are they dense, so the canopy sort of obscures the afternoon light above you, but they are of a darker quality. The leaves themselves are darker, and the bark is like grayer. It's almost like a birch or a yew, rather. Everybody, roll me perception.
I old lady myself.
Great.
Oh, goody.
That's a 10.
18.
25.
25. You got a 10. So all three of you can smell quite distinctly burning wood.
Oh, jeez.
Like wood smoke in the air coming from somewhere ahead of you, more to the north. The two of you can hear a little bit in the distance, like movement, like you know, not like a single thing moving, but a massive distant movement. Some clanking and rustling in general, wood scraping wood kind of thing. And you, particularly Nevrik, can feel something in the distance. There's something that is resonating with you out there. I don't know. It's like there's like a frequency that you can feel, and it prickles against your skin, sort of the same way. No, that's actually all I'm going to say. But it's somewhere even further than the reach of your sense of smell or sound. But you're in these woods. What do you want to do?
Right, I don't know why I'm talking like this. There's nobody around. Let's go find the fire.
Tamzin
Yes.
Hopefully,
also
no.
told me there's a group of people here.
Oh.
Studying, well, I don't know about studying. They're here investigating this fire.
Hello?
Do I sense anybody around us? Based
Like
off of
your
just
like sense or? I would say, given the sounds that you heard, there's a grouping of people not too far away.
Yeah.
but not
Not
necessarily
like within earshot.
Yeah, no. Not vocally in earshot at the very least, right?
Gotcha.
And to that point, as you call out hello, it's sort of, you can even hear it kind of, there's no echo or anything, it gets blunted by the density of the trees, right? You're in the thick wood.
Do we think people and just go to people in the forest and hope, or do we walk?
I think moving forward in a more cautious pace might be wise.
Right. Onward.
Upward.
Okay. Just pressing forward, following your sense of sound and smell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you move through the trees. And as you move, every now and then you'll spot a tree that's a little bit worse for wear. That looks at first glance a little scorched, but not quite right. Like the tree itself maybe from a quick glance looks burned, but when you look at it, it's surrounded by trees that aren't burned. There aren't any fire marks on the ground. It just looks like there was a fire almost within the tree at one point. And those start out being fairly rare occurrences, and the further you go after a few minutes, there are scattered few more of them in clusters. But as the smell of the wood smoke is getting gradually stronger and stronger, the much more swift incline in sensation is the sound, that sound of clanking and rustling and movement. And it's not too long before just up ahead, as the forest slants a little bit upwards, almost on a hillside, I will say notably, still no animal sounds. On the top of this gentle slope, you can see what looks to be a decent-sized wooden encampment, right? The whole thing is in a square wall of sharpened pieces of wood to form a sort of pointed fence, and there's some kind of multi-layer wooden building in there that looks like it serves as a bunch of different buildings, but it's one main structure around, with this wooden wall built around it. You can hear the rustling from there. You can see clearly over the not too tall wooden fence, there are a couple of the telltale signs of like caravan tent flaps that you can see just above the wall, that looks like they would be on the kind of tents that are pulled on wagons or on carts or something like that, in the same blue and gold colours of the Neversill Guild. But other than that, you can hear more noises, just from within this settlement, this encampment. And beyond, to see beyond the fortress, you'd have to get further up that little hill, sort of on line with this settlement, this fortification.
Do we go in?
I think that it might be even fine to just circumvent speaking with the mortals at all.
Okay.
I think we should go
Thank you,
straight
my
to
lord.
the fire.
Oh, that's funny.
I keep walking.
not the little tee-hee. Okay.
I want to tap into this feeling, this tingle. My Peter tingle.
Tap into your tingle.
Yeah.
The flavors are melting on my tongue.
I'm sorry, your what? Your Peter
Nevrik
tingle?
Yeah.
The Nevrik tingle.
Sounds
Never
like
tingle.
okay. That's better.
Yeah, great.
Peter
Good.
sounds like
I want to cry. Talk to me about that. You just, what is your goal there?
To pinpoint exactly where this
Okay.
feeling is coming from. This.
Thermal goggles.
Yeah, the predator vision. So I'll have you roll me a Nevrik check, right? Which is basically, I think, going to be I think for you, it's going to be less about spellcasting and more about your basic force of will. So I'm going to have you roll a charisma check. You do have proficiency on it. It's like your Ystävä check, right? And that's going to apply to everyone.
It's cocked again. I'll do it.
This Darkspawn battle music. Yeah. 12. You can sense, as you sort of link into that feeling, that sort of the thing that feels like a link anyway, you allow your mind to expand a bit and can feel it somewhere down ahead of you, a good ways. It's past where you can feel the like gathering of life and emotion in the settlement, and it's some ways down, and you can feel almost flickerings of that same connection all around it down there some ways, but it's concentrated at a particular point. So all of it right now feels kind of quiet. Like there's that constant connection there, but it doesn't feel active, doesn't feel resonant. You're sending a signal out to it, right, this ping, and it doesn't feel like it's necessarily receiving it or sending something back. But it's down in some ways.
Excuse me. Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna start to head that way, and I'll say it. Follow me.
Yes, my lord.
So are you evolving into...
For more characters.
It's like a little, what am I thinking of here? Oh my, there's a very particular character that you're... Oh my god, have you seen the Jimmy Neutron movie?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
It's the King Space Aliens for Ublar, the little one. Hello, Toast! I greatly admire your ship. That's what you're giving me the, like, old lady version of. Like, yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Oh, God. Great. Okay, so you're all going together?
Yep.
Alright. I'm moving at a regular speed. I'm moving around the settlement, right?
Yes.
Okay. You push in. Push past. Are we doing quietly, stealthily past the settlement?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't touch the
Give me
ground.
the gift.
Even
Well,
gods
it's
have
less
to
about
roll.
you're still
stealth
there. You're not
checks.
invisible, right?
Even gods have to roll. They're,
You won't-
they're
you
just
won't
like
believe it.
us.
Are you kidding me?
You won't
Are you
believe it.
literally kidding me? Is
You
that
won't
two?
believe it. That's two.
Well, don't worry. I rolled
It's
a crit fail.
my birthday.
I'm
Okay,
rolling
good.
for you.
18. Not bad at all.
You crit failed.
Uh-huh.
Nice. A balance.
It's because I'm going, yes, my lord. Crack.
You're
just too absorbed in your own
Basically,
fucking
like,
jokes.
you're out here playing the Count from Sesame Street constantly. And it's to no one's benefit but yours, really.
I'm delighted by it.
Are you still doing the featsies even when no one's watching you in the
Oh, yeah.
the fancy
Oh,
feet?
The prance.
Well,
Let's just,
yeah,
for,
it's just
unless
from
I say
here on
doesn't
out.
happen,
Yeah.
it's happening.
It's
Ad
happening.
infinitum.
Yeah, great. Oh, I love it. I love it.
And if I fly with my cloak, then, like, flowers fly behind me. Like, they're
of
dropping
course,
from
of
my
course.
cloak.
Yeah, like you're seeding everything
Yep,
around you.
exactly.
Yeah. And then the life. Oh, it's just so tasty, so flavorful. So you guys pass by, not too close to the fortress, sort of around the left side of it. And it's as you're going, you're quite quiet through, but there's just something that is metaphysically like dense about three gods traveling in a pack together through the mortal world. And Ünen, it's you that notice as you're drifting above the ground here just a little bit, that from a ways away on the wall of this fortress, or this encampment, over the left side spiked wall here, you see a small face peering out between two of the slanted things. Fairly fresh, young face. You can only see half of their mouth, but it's clearly open. Watching the three of you go by. At a considerable distance. We're talking like 200 feet or something, if not more. We're just watching you go.
Should I kill it? Just kidding.
They don't
His
call
huge
out
hammer just-
or anything, but they definitely, if you keep looking back while you're in view of the thing, you'd see them there. The further you go, the more they're like, sort of squeezed between the spikes, looking at you go.
What are you looking at? Oh, no.
I believe there's a young one of them. It shouldn't be a problem.
It sounded a bit like a threat. But okay, yes, my lord.
I'll be right back.
Threat or a promise? It shouldn't be a problem.
It's like, oh, I can't see him anymore. Turns around. And it's
Yeah,
right
I
behind
know. Gets just disintegrated. But we move on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like we needed
No,
to talk
absolutely,
to them.
absolutely.
They can
You
know
push
we're
into
here.
the wood, and it's probably only about like 5 to 6 minutes of hiking down over the crest of this little hill and down into the forest. And now a lot of these trees are looking drained or burned. And once you hit that 5-minute mark, and you can now no longer really see the fortress through the density of the tree line, it's now becoming unclear as to whether these trees were drained or were actually burned, because now the ground is looking scorched and it's crackling like dehydrated leaves, or the ground that once was mulchy and soft now like breaks like dust underfoot. And you give it another 5 minutes as you're walking, and you can see little sparks of light, almost like fireflies but crimson, blinking and flickering in jagged streaks, just irregularly through the wood. Some of the trunks of these burned trees still look like they have smouldering embers in them the further you go. And once you pass into this density of burned forest, that wood smoke smell is pervasive, it clings to you, and the air itself is hot and rather heavy as well. It's getting to the point that though the canopies aren't luscious anymore, right, if these trees are mostly burned, there is like a layer of not exactly smoke, not exactly fog, not exactly ash that sort of lingers where the canopy would have been, entangling and entwining with all these burned tree stalks, that filters the light in such a way that it just sort of looks ubiquitously like a grey, darkened time of day. Like a cloudy dusk, though it wasn't that late into the afternoon moments ago. What are we doing? Are we still just pressing onwards?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You continue to move. The air continues to heat up. And you, Nevrik, can feel a prickling under your skin as if you were being gently brushed by 1,000 little superheated needles.
That sounds absolutely awful.
It's sort of the same feeling that when you give in to your days of like anger and ferocity, and you allow yourself to be tethered to that sort of, well, I mean, that's the sensation, right? But it actually feels like almost exciting. Like when you're,
it's your kink.
When no, that's what I mean. But like, let me just make sure
in a wholesome way.
In a wholesome way.
A wholesome kink.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Do you know, like,
second.
text me when you get home? That's a wholesome kink.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, when you're like, part of this is an uncomfortable feeling for you, and part of it isn't.
Yeah.
Right. But it's all familiar. It's all familiar, and as the air gets heavier, and the more of these flickering ember-like lights you see in the trees and in the air, the more present this feeling and this connection becomes. And it isn't too long, probably from the fortress it's only been about 15 full minutes, until you reach a point where the trees stop becoming ambiguous. And there's almost like a tree line within the forest, as ahead of you is something akin to a wasteland. And the forest is completely scorched as it tilts down almost into like a ravine, as if part of this forest was carved out with only stumps of the burned trees remaining. But in this area, it's even more obscured, as if there were like nighttime clouds of smoke that now range over this completely desolated area. And it's dark from above, but bright as you look at it, because there are smouldering embers and flickering flames in the air, in the stumps, in the ground, all ahead of you. And it all, for the moment, centers on a particularly earthy divot in the ground, down the slope, and then even down into almost a subtle crater again, as something lies there. It's fairly sizable.
Fuck.
And it isn't necessarily solid. Right now, it looks like in the center of this divot in the ground is like a swirling mass of really slow-moving, very transparent flame, actually. Like it's flame sitting above the ground, moving in like a whirlpool motion, crackling really slowly, and it's very, very dense too, right at the bottom of this pit. It's not spreading anywhere, it's not burning through anything, it's just there. And around it, in the ground, in the divot that it's in, that the lights and the embers that you can see in the ground come to like an intensification all around it, as if the ground itself was bending to meet this fire's resting place. The smell is, if you were a human person or a mortal person, it would be pretty difficult to breathe right now.
Do you think we can talk to it?
No one's here.
Do you think we can talk to it?
Yes. I believe so.
I have a thought. Perhaps this is not dissimilar to the other problem they seem to be having.
This could have come through the door.
Or it is a door.
Or,
Oh.
well, there's one way to find out.
I just got chills. Let's go in.
I'm going to...
But it's so warm.
I'm going to... How far away are we from it?
Cold.
From it, you're probably about 150 feet.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in the air and, like, fly a short distance. and
Towards
then
it?
Just land right
Motrin.
by it.
Like in the pit right next to it?
Holy
Yeah.
Okay. The pair of you watch as Nevrik just like...
Sorry.
We're having
No,
moments.
I'm full aware. You can run your own course. You're adults. But Nevrik sort of jumps up in the air, the wings spread, and he takes flight and sort of glides down this hill before landing in the divot in the earth right next to the swirling, slow-moving pool of flame. This thing is big! It is very, very big. Even down next to you, as it's sort of rotating around you, the thing is probably like sort of in the oval shape it's in right now. Like, I'm gonna say 45 feet wide and wide and 60 feet or so long in this coiled flame, and it like doesn't quite touch the ground. The ground is like white hot embers just beneath it that bleeds into a really rivulets of flame and embers underneath the earth. And it's... How long are you planning on standing right here? Like in terms of seconds? Because it's incredibly hot. Like,
Okay.
even for you who is a heavy tie to the elements, this is like blistering, primal heat.
Well, then I'll back up.
So you back
Realizing
up.
that it's too hot for me even to handle.
So you just sort of drift up to the top of the thing, standing there, and it's still pretty oppressive, but it's not gonna like burn the core of your divine soul.
Jesus.
You can feel, looking at this thing, like you know this. Not necessarily like you haven't seen it before, but there's some part of you that knows this thing, that has an awareness of this thing,
Like,
or connection.
call out to it.
I know
What do you say?
your name.
Friend. Who are you?
The flames really slow for a second, and flicker bright yellow, and then move slowly again. No immediate response.
What are you doing here?
What language are you speaking in?
Celestial.
It flickers yellow again, sort of buckles a little bit, and then continues moving like normal.
Try primordial.
I'll ask again in primordial what it's doing.
It flickers yellow, and there's a secondary pulse of it as the yellow light rushes into the flame and condenses right in the oval center of it into this sort of like diamond shape of like long slotted diamond of yellow that cracks open to reveal like a bristling red ember of flame slitting down it that looks very much like a long distorted eye. And from this flame, this like gazing flame, a voice ripples out in primordial, and you can hear it in primordial and sort of understand it. You feel yourself being directly spoken to. Why can't I wake?
I don't.
Why? And as that why shrieks, like, flames leak from the cracks in the grounds. Can't I wake? The ground like trembles at its words.
Answer it.
Yeah, what you guys can sort of understand these sentiments. You're 150 feet away.
Ystävä goes,
Is it a...
Yeah!
thumbs up! You're doing great! I don't know what to do.
Is it... I guess I can ask you as the DM. I don't think I...
Sure.
Is it like... The vibe check wise, is it like a creature and or being?
Without any further rolling, I can tell you can feel life from this. There's a sentience that's communicating from this flame in some way, shape, or form. Beyond that, you'd need to be more specific.
I say to it in primordial, where do you come from?
Again, that eye sort of bristles and burns. From my slumber, my only solace. Why can't I find it? And the fire is beginning to sort of burgeon and grow and extend, sort of bristle and flare up in and of itself.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Calm it down. You do emotion things, right?
Sing a song.
Do your thing.
I try. I want to roll. I want to roll.
Okay.
And I want to see if I want to roll for the emotion of the day.
Okay.
And then I want to see if I can influence.
Okay.
Its emotion.
Give me the roll.
It would be fun if it's.
Watch it be anger.
If, like, the chat could roll for the emotion of the day with a d6.
Oh, that's kind of fun. If it's random anyway, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean-
have them. Yeah.
We'll figure that out. That might be fun if you want to do it.
Absolutely.
What did you?
You rolled a 3. That is fear.
Oh, great. Okay.
Oh, good.
So there's again
That's
like
helpful.
Yeah.
this thing is definitely on its own is feeling a little like skittish, and it's making you feel like sort of sink into that fear again. And am I crazy, or is fear?
Earth.
Fear is well, okay, great,
Yeah.
tracks. As you can feel it bleeding through that own element. With that in mind, what do you want to try and do?
Well, I guess with this, I can try and intimidate it into submission.
Then give me what you got.
Okay.
Thank you, Father.
Oh, great being. Okay.
Yeah.
Calm yourself. We can figure this out. But I need you to calm down. There's someone more powerful than me who has control over you. And we don't want her here. So I suggest we keep it down.
Just basically, be quiet or mommy's coming. Do you understand that?
Exactly.
Keep it down.
Roll me an intimidation check.
This would be the moment for a nat 20.
There we go.
That's cocked. Can I use a rolling tray? Please? Thank you. That's a 14.
A 14? Give me a second. Give me a second, yeah? Yeah, okay.
Can I never used it last week because I didn't roll anything. Can I use the mode of inspiration?
I'm so sorry. We set those rules up so long ago.
Kyle also has a mode of inspiration from, I believe,
Oh, I
Nemi
didn't
for
see.
your birthday.
Oh my goodness. Since it's my birthday, can I gift it to my good
I
friend
cannot
Nevrik?
allow that because that's down that road
Rules
lies
are
madness. Yeah. So you speak out to it and be like, I would keep it down if I were you. If you don't want to be stomped on by power greater than my own. And this thing flares up, almost feeding on that, like the essence of intimidation, on the cyclical nature of fear here. Then take me and the ground cracks. A flare of like almost liquid flame shoots up before being sucked back down into the ground, and this eye sitting there in the flame stretches out from the flame as the fire takes shape into this one languid arm of bristling fire, almost semi-transparent, then another out on the side of the thing, stretching and flickering as it goes. The head pulls out on this long, twisted neck of embers and sparks and flames as this long, serpentine, pointed mouth with rows of teeth made of fire and broken wood chatter as two huge wings of red crimson flame erupt from the earth as a great roar and a jet of fire scorches the sky from its mouth. We'll pick up here next week, guys. I know it's a short session, but we're about to get into some spicy stuff. So thank you guys for coming in and checking in on this double holiday, the Kyle's birthday, the Valentine's Day. Go out there and give somebody some love, whether it's yourself, a partner, a friend. It's time to dismantle what this holiday usually is sold for and reclaim it for the greater good, I think. So love yourselves.
And if you hate it all together, just celebrate my birthday.
Yeah, and exactly the point. And now you can do that from here on out, right? Now these things are forever linked. So you have a good reason to celebrate either way. Give yourselves a break. Enjoy yourselves. Come join the Discord for a fun extra personal info and secret subscriber stuff. Definitely keep checking out our Instagram as that giveaway is about to get underway, and you do not want to miss that. And come back here at the regular time at 6 p.m. next week for what I think is going to be something very close to our first dragon battle.
Oh, fuck, it's a dragon? I didn't even think about that. Hannah! Oops.
Arms, serpentine face.
Nope, I was just like, oh, cool.
Listen, it's
flame.
It isn't quite that, but it's enough for me to call.
Or like a
flame dragon.
Yeah, we're on the way to something fairly emblematic. So show up, buckle in, and have a lovely rest of your week, guys.
We're gonna raid a channel, but first I just wanted to remind everybody about the giveaway. Check out Instagram tomorrow, and it'll be running until February 28th. And follow us on socials. You'll find our link in, our links page. And happy birthday, Kyle!
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Alright, we're going
Cheers.
to raid.
Get your flagons out. Get the longboats.
Show some Bards of New York love. Here we go.
Flanonia! That is amazing.
Okay, and I think
we
we are out.
Right.